George and I are going to do some concrete work for this shed. We're going to start off forming it up with 2x8s here. We're going to leave the front form out so we can get some stone in. We are going to stone the middle so that we only have 4 inches of concrete, but we're going to leave it thick, like 8 inches around the edge where the wall goes. That's where it speeds up. We'll pull the front form back out so we can get into the pour. Put some dirt around the edges here. It'll help keep the concrete from coming underneath the forms while we pour. But after we're done, you want that to keep your stone from washing out from under the pad too. Once we get all the stone leveled off, George is giving it a quick tamp here. I've got a real nice plate compactor at home, but didn't feel like hauling it all the way to Kentucky. This gravel doesn't have a lot of fines in it, so it doesn't need a ton of compaction. All right, we got all our stone in. With the steel mesh in there, we'll pull that up as we pour. We left the stone down along the edge here, you can see, just so we get a thick edge where the wall sits. We're about 4 inches deep. Tamped it down. About 8 around the edges. Ought to hold up some shelves in a four-wheeler just fine. It's kind of neat, this spot. After the bulldozer went down the road, he gave us a nice flat spot. We got the creek back here. Kind of a pretty area for a workshop. It's all hands on deck once the concrete truck gets there. Mike and Pete came down from their work on the cabin, give us a hand getting it off. It only took about a half hour. We were really fortunate that the culvert at the bottom of the road was in good shape so he could drive all the way into the pour. So here we got the concrete off. Got it all struck off and bull floated. This is the bull float here. This is the first pass Makes it nice and smooth and keeps the pores open. As soon as this sets up a little, and it's probably close to ready, we'll use this steel trowel here. We'll go over it with that on these poles, and that'll make it a little bit smoother, close up the pores a little bit. It's getting a little hard. All right. Step in the process, we get out on it with some pads as it sets up enough to hold your weight, and we get it smooth. I'd like to have done 2 passes, but this is setting up. It is just about done, and we're throwing a little water on it and really hammering it out. A little hard to tell and fast forward, but this was a little frustrating. We wound up giving up on the garage floor finish because it just took off way too fast, and I am the only one with finishing experience here. So we wound up giving it a nice brush finish. I'll probably regret that later when I'm trying to sweep the floor, but it'll be just fine for a storage shed. And here it is, a look at the finished pad. It's hard to believe that much work goes into such a little shed pad. Again, this is 10 by 15. We'll let it set up here and get the form stripped. We'll probably put some score joints in it so we can control where it cracks. But that's it, finished product. Thanks for watching, guys. Stick around and see the rest of the videos that go with this one. We'll be framing this shed in pieces here in Illinois and hauling it all the way to Kentucky and setting it up prefabricated. Should be pretty cool. Don't miss it.